Hi, it's Orion from Vesania and Behemoth. You're listening to Metal Wani.
Well said. Now we just got a week left for Vesania's highly anticipated album Dues Ex Machina. How excited and nervous are you for this release?
Well, I am excited and enthusiastically I'm waiting for the release. You know, it's been a long time since we released the last one. That was 7 years ago, and it took us a lot of time to
Hmm.
write and record this one. So yeah, we're waiting for the release date. It's happening now. Excited.
That's amazing. Now you released Innocence last month as a first single from the album. Now
Yep.
we as a press have received the album for to listen to it and give our feedback. How have your fans responded?
Uh, well, first of all, when we were speaking about picking the singles for the album, there's no particular song that stands out, and
Mhm.
everyone's very different. So there's nothing like a song that will represent the whole thing the best, and
Right.
that's just not the way we see it. So we decide to pick the most diverse, the most weird song of the album as a single, just to
Mhm.
have very opposite opinions on it. So it's actually what it is. It's actually how the comments are. It's the song that you can either love or hate. There's nothing in the middle, and that's how we wanted it to happen. And we've just released another single a few days ago through Revolver magazine, and that's another
Mhm.
very different song. But the album's out in a few days, and if you listen to the entire album, each track is very different and has very own atmosphere. So it was very hard to pick the single for it.
That's really true. And you and Dere, the combination of writing these riffs and then the drumming makes it even more interesting as a fan because we kind of expect a little bit of Behemoth, a little bit of Dimmu influences in it, but it's just a different field altogether and it shines out. I mean, people don't go back and say, okay, this sounds like Dimmu, but it sounds like Visania. So you must
Well,
there are many
mhm.
such songs on this album which reflect that idea.
That's a great thing to hear, actually, because I'm a member of Behemoth for 11 years, and if you're saying there's rather no influences of Behemoth music on what I do with this band, that's a good thing to hear. The thing is, Vesania is my very first band. That's the band that I started with, and we know each other, at least three of us, me, Dai, the drummer, and Heinrich, the bass player. We know each other since, well, that's going to sound scary, since almost 30 years.
Three
So,
decades.
yeah, almost. We got to know each other back when we were little kids. And this band we just treat as it was our child, as it was our kid. So, whenever it comes to working with this one, is just very different than working with any other bands that we're in. And yeah, I never had the problem with picking the ideas either for this one or the other, because I keep these things separate, and they're very separate for me.
That's really cool. And what about the idea of this album is more around an ancient Greek tragedy, which speaks of the influences the music is based on. Did you feel like the band has derived some inspirations from these philosophies, or you guys wanted to add your own touch to the music?
Well, Vesania has always been very theatrical. At least the themes that are showing up at all of the albums are like this, and it has always been about us playing a certain role in this band. And this one we've named it Deus Ex Machina, and this term, as you said, it comes from the ancient Greek tragedy, and it means a god from the machine. That was just the trick the authors were using for solving what was unsolvable. When the plot of the play was coming into the stage of having no solution. They were sending a god onto Earth to solve human problems, and the way they were doing this, they were using some sort of a machine, some sort of a crane to lower an actor on stage, playing God. That's where the literal meaning of the title comes from. And well, yeah, Vesania is very theatrical, and it's always been like that. And with this
True.
album, we just we're not afraid to take it a step farther and to incorporate it even more into what we're doing. And I don't know if you've seen the photo shoots for the album, but one of them we did in the actual theater on stage, and what you see behind us, the scenography and everything, is basically what we do during a live show with Vesania. So
Cool.
it reminds a lot more of a theater than of a typical metal show. Metal show. We've been on stage for a long time, maybe with this band or with all the others that we're in, and you know, it just feels that we're a little fed up with standing on stage and banging our heads for an hour, and we started coming up with some new ideas for it, and it's working. It's working like an open concept for the people to work with, and it's bringing a lot of new ideas to what we're doing, and it happens really enthusiastically. So yeah, we truly excited about what's happening now with the band.
Ah, that's amazing. Across all these years, I mean, your music has evolved. When we talk about experimentation, Visenia has tried a lot with the black and death metal approach, also some atmospheric instrumentals. So there's a lot going on, on these albums. What, according to you, constitutes a band's growth?
Uh, well, that's a very hard question. I would rather see it in the matter of the band developing and not really growing, because growing means getting more fans and getting more
Exposure.
exposure. Yeah, and that's what not really. I mean, that's not what we're really aiming for. If that happens, that's great, but we're the first one to be satisfied here. Well, we're growing older. We're getting more and more experience, and we're getting new ideas for what we're doing. And what decides about it is just how much heart and spirit you're putting into what you're doing. We're not one of these bands that records the album every year or every second year, and we're not factoring. We're not manufacturing the music in a factory,
Right.
and we just have a different approach to what we're doing, and hopefully it's getting to some level of being unique, and that's what I hear more and more in the case of this album. And well, hopefully that's just the way to go for us. I don't know if it defines the growth of the band,
Mhm.
but if the growth comes with it, that's a great thing.
Oh, that's very well said. And when I look at both Visenia as well as Behemoth, it's more like a different thing altogether. Looking at your music with Visenia, it's more like exploring aspects around the crux of symphonic black and death metal. While Behemoth's journey is more towards the black and death, both ferocious and accessible. But you, as a musician, how do you carry, what sort of an experience do you carry in order to make sure that both these bands sound different on all the material which you write?
Well, I have never had any problem with separating things for both bands, and the way we're working with
Mhm.
Behemoth is very different from the way we're working with Vesania. And Vesania has always been very close to symphonic black metal, especially at the beginning. And
Right.
if we're speaking about influences, and I can easily name the bands and the style of music that made me do what I'm doing with this band, and actually
Mhm.
made me who I am at the moment. That was the Norwegian black metal scene, and what we took
True.
from there was the black metal feeling and the symphonic part of the music and the orchestrations and everything. And we went up this way farther. Today we're probably moving a little aside from this genre because well, there's I don't think there's anything this genre, meaning symphonic black metal, has to offer today. It feels like this area has been explored in every possible way. So
True. Absolutely.
we're taking a little step sideways for it, or taking it to the next level. It's just a matter of the perspective how you see things. But
True.
Behemoth, these are two different groups of people, and when it comes to speaking about writing, about producing the albums, about sounds and the ideas we want to incorporate in the music. Uh, these are just different things, and I find one of the bands as a place to one type of the ideas I have, and the other one for the other type. You know, it's
Mhm.
always been this way. With Vesania today, I don't really feel like we have to stay close to any sort of convention or a genre or whatever. Vesania
Right.
is not it's not a professional band in the matter of living off the music. So we're actually free to do whatever we want to do.
You are free to
And
explore, spread your
yeah,
wings and explore your different horizons.
definitely we are.
That's wonderful. Now we were talking about the theatrical kind of a side which both Visenia as well as Behemoth have. Now that sort of gives a unique vibe to the band when we talk about the performance as well. So you as a musician, how important do you think are these aesthetics in terms of communicating an idea to the listener?
Well, I think that aesthetics in general are important. May it be this or any other sort of aesthetics. We chose this way, and we're going this way. But it's important in general because music, when it comes to a touring band and when it comes to a band releasing the records,
Hmm.
uh, well, it's more than the music itself. It's the imagery,
Absolutely.
it's the photo shoots, it's the stage look and stage performance. It's everything, and every detail needs to be taken care of. So aesthetics are important when it comes to a band because a band it's not just the music. It's people, it's personalities, it's their ideas.
That's absolutely true. I agree with that. Now, with Visenia, you're also releasing Behemoth's
Oh.
limited edition EP. I don't know how do I pronounce it as. I mean, could you just clarify how do I pronounce the EP name? It seems to be the most
Yeah.
complex one. I
Yeah, we get that a lot. It's actually very easy for us. It's pronounced ksiądz.
Shons. Oh my God. Till now I was like
Yeah.
Ziad, but something else.
Ksiądz. It means a priest.
Pre-Shons. Now this is releasing in November, and to my surprise, this is
I
just
cannot hear
basically
you.
yeah. This particular EP is strictly limited to 500 vinyl copies, and it's not available on CDs. Why such an decision of keeping it totally on the vinyl, or is it more like an old school approach?
Well, we do have this old school approach, especially when it comes to not to the albums but to the EPs. It's not limited to 500. It's 500 black vinyls, 500 gold vinyls, and 1,000
Black
black
gold.
and gold splatter. So
Right.
it's 2,000 altogether. It's exactly the limit that we've done for Blow Your Trumpets Gabriel EP that we released right
Recently, yeah.
before the Satanists. So we now have these two EPs which are like twin EPs. If you compare the layouts of these and the artworks and everything, they're very similar, still different because they differ with the songs, but it's the same artist doing covers and everything for both of them. Um, well, we like to keep things old school, and we think that releasing something on the vinyl only makes it a special release. On the other hand, we're getting tons of emails and messages and everything from the fans just asking for a CD. So we're currently, right now at the moment, considering
CDs.
releasing both EPs on one CD release, just for the people who, as we
Kind
laugh
of
about,
pre-order it or something?
yeah. It's basically for the people who don't have the vinyl player in their cars, right? That's how we laugh about it.
That's a very difficult job.
Yeah,
Indeed. Now we have two new tracks on this particular EP and also has a re-recorded version of Moonspell Rights. Now,
yeah.
when this news came out, people were excited because they definitely wanted, a current modern production version of Moonspell Rights. So a great decision, don't you think so?
Yeah, I love this song. We've been playing this song live for a few years, and well, whenever we approach either an old Behemoth song or a song of a different band that we want to cover, we
Mhm.
completely rearrange it today. We just wanted to make it into the reality that we were in today. So yeah,
Right.
we rearranged it, we re-recorded it because the fans already heard this version of a song live enough times to listen it from the record now.
True. That's really great. Now, with the Satanist doing, creating a havoc in heavy metal world right from January, how are you feeling about the current state of Behemoth? I mean, looking at the future plans, Nergal has been very much, secured about the band, and he just wants to give, of course, you all want to give your best live. So, what's happening in the Behemoth camp? Is there been any decision which has happened for future?
Well, yeah, there's a constant work in the Behemoth camp at the moment, and we're the plans we have now are the tours, because we feel that the Satanist album has just a big potential, and we don't want to record a new one
Absolutely.
anytime next year or something. We just want
Hmm.
to do all the touring for as long as it is possible for this one. So we have, just to give you an example of the next, let's say, half a year, we're leaving
Right.
to South America in a week for 3 weeks. Then we're going to South Africa to play 2 shows. Then we're going to England for a little tour with Decapitated. Then we're doing BBC live radio show, and that's
Cool.
still within this year. Next year, we're leaving for 70 Tons of Metal, doing this one
In
right after that.
January. Right.
Yeah, right after that, a long big tour in US with Cannibal Corpse, then a European tour. We have lots of touring planned. At the same time, we feel that we should be doing more videos for this album. So we're currently
Hmm.
speaking about at least 2 more videos for the Satanist, maybe more.
That's
We'll
awesome.
see. So we want to explore this album, just work with it for as long as it's needed for it, because we're really satisfied with it, and we don't want to lose the opportunity to use the whole potential of it.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Now, since we're talking about the live, how annoyed do you guys get when this kind of a scene happens in Russia? All these activists trying to stop or cancel the gigs. Fans over there would have definitely been disappointed because they would have come all the way from different parts of Russia just to see you guys live, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's just a pitiful situation, and I feel truly sorry for all the fans who bought the tickets, who wanted to see Behemoth, and we were trying and struggling through half of this tour to make things happen, and we've played some of the shows from the first part of the tour, but once we got in prison, and once they got us into the court trial, we had to go back home and cancel off the rest of the tour. The situation now between Russia and Ukraine, it's all politics, and
Right, right.
they just made a scapegoat. They just made an example out of us. The official reason for getting us in prison was the wrong type of visas, which is bullshit, because the visas we had for this tour were exactly the visas that Russian consulate
Right.
advised us to do
Hmm.
for this tour. So they were totally aware of why we're going there, and they wanted us to have this kind of visa. So these were just the official bullshit reasons, which are just not true. Whenever there's some power trying to get stronger, They need these scapegoats. They need to show people what is wrong and what is right. And when they have, uh, let's say, anti-Christian band
Hmm.
playing, and that's an easy deal for them. That's
Right.
an easy thing to make. That's the very one they want to pick. Then see people. Then people see that they're strong because they can cancel things. They can make the things right for their society. Plus, the situation between Russia and Ukraine now. Well, Russians in general at the moment are not very fond of having Polish people because what they see on the news and propaganda is that Poland's helping Ukraine and destroying and killing
Oh,
Russians,
God.
which is complete untrue.
True.
But it is what it is. We're not allowed to cross the Russian border for the next 5 years,
Oh
and
my God.
we're not really willing to.
So looks like fans will have to travel across the border to see you guys live, at least in Europe.
Yes, that's what's happening. We've just done a Polish tour with Behemoth here, and there was a lot of Russians coming to see this show.
Nice.
And as it is easier for Russians to travel to Poland, it's almost impossible for Ukrainians because they're just not getting the visas at the moment because of the situation. So I feel really bad for these people.
That's really cool. Now let's look forward to it. And I want to see Visenia live in India. Is it possible to see you guys over here?
Yeah, invite us, make it happen.
Invitation is all you guys need, isn't it?
I wish it was all we need. No, we need to sleep. We need to eat. If there's anyone making it happen, then let's do it. We've never even been to India with Behemoth. We played Nepal, which is
Nepal is kind
close
of,
to India.
it has that Indian vibe. So definitely you guys will be coming to the actual, country, India, very soon. But Nepal is also more like a close area, and it has that
Yeah,
Indian vibe.
yeah.
But seeing you guys live in Bangalore is going to be really great. And 2015 is going to do that for us.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, we had some shows planned in India, but the promoters were just not responsible and professional enough to make it happen. So last minute we had to cancel things
And it's
because we
supposed to
need.
happen somewhere in 2012, I guess.
I think so. Yeah,
It
you might
was
be right.
Indian Music Conference, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
So nonetheless, let's hope that I see you guys live. Now with Visenia's new album, I wish you good luck for the album, and I make sure that all your fans buy the album and support the band because the material on this album is worth having.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Great, Orion. Now I'll end the interview with a simple question for you to define new album in just one sentence.
Whoa, that's the hardest question I've ever get.
That seems to be a key for all the musicians. They stop there, dude. You just
Yeah.
ask this question.
Uh, Vesania's Deus Ex Machina is taking symphonic black metal to the next level. So just listen to it.
Perfect. That's really great, Orion. Had a great chat with you. I look forward to see you guys live in India. And thank you once again.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for your time.